Welcome, Shocker fans. Thanks for coming out in the rain and being here on a fantastic day in Shocker Nation. I have to admit, we're getting started a few minutes early with good reason. We had lost the president and the commissioner. So we were searching around Koch Arena trying to find them, and as you can tell, we did. So thanks for bearing with us. And in all honesty and seriousness, thanks for braving the weather tonight to be here. I'm never surprised that you all show up in the ways that you do. It's great to see several student athletes in the department here to share this moment with us. And if you're one of our student athletes, if you would, just stand up real quick. I know you hate it when we do this, but thank you. I know you hate it when we do things like that, but anytime we get a chance to recognize you and for the sacrifice and commitment that you put into being a student athlete at Wichita State, we want to recognize you. So thanks for being here. With that, I'm going to introduce Dr. John Bardo to the podium to kick us off.
Darren, thank you, and our student athletes, thank you all for being here today too. This is really an exciting time. Wichita State, over the course of more than a decade, has been building capacity, been improving what we do, has been in championship games, have fought the best in the country and won. And tonight, we're celebrating the impact of all of that by celebrating joining the American Athletic Conference. So when people say, well, who are you playing tonight? You know what? We don't have to explain it. We don't have to explain who they are. We don't have to explain where they came from because they're known quantities. They're major universities that are making a difference in their parts of the world, and we just want to beat them all in every sport. You know, I'm a Cincinnati alum. I just want to beat them by 30. So the truth is, at the end of the day, we're in the American because so many student athletes were willing to make the commitment, because so many fans were willing to come out, take part, be part of the university. Because this great metropolitan area said, we want better, we want to do well, we want to be known for excellence. And the American is a conference known for excellence. That is who we are, it is who they are, and we are very proud members of the American Athletic Conference. Go Shocks.
And I'm the American SAC representative for Wichita State. I'm also a member of the Wichita State volleyball team. On behalf of all of the student athletes, we cannot express to you how excited we are about the enhanced competition that the American Athletic Conference has to offer, and the increased exposure we have as a member of a Power 6 conference. Even though the experiences are new and the competition has increased, I'm confident to say that here at Wichita State, our drive and focus on winning conference and national championships has not changed. We will continue to compete to the best of our abilities. We will continue to strive for excellence. We will continue to represent our school and our city with pride. We enter this conference with the mindset of business as usual. Now that we are on a more national stage, we have the opportunity to showcase not only our athletic skills, but also the support we receive on a daily basis from Shocker Nation. You have been unwavering. You have been loud. You have been faithful. even to the far reaches of Illinois, Indiana, or Cedar Falls, Iowa. You have traveled miles to show us how proud you are, and we are proud of you. On behalf of all the student athletes, thank you, Shocker Nation. We look forward to celebrating championships in the American with you.
I knew after Mikaela spoke that I would have to bring this microphone down. You know, Paige and Mikaela, I mean, that's what this university is all about. Just tremendous young people, and that's what our conference is about. It's educating and providing the highest level of competition for the young people of our conference. I issue all of you a warm welcome to the American Athletic Conference, including one of the younger youngsters there. We've got every age here represented. And I echo what Darron said. It's a rainy day out, it's not easy, inclement weather, and here you are, and I really appreciate your attendance. And it is in large part because of your support and your devotion to this program that Wichita State is in the American Athletic Conference, because we looked at the community, we looked at the community support, the fan support, and we said this is a great sustainable program, a great university on the move, but to have that kind of attendance that you have and to have the kind of passion you have, it's gratifying, and it's a big reason why Wichita State was so attractive to us. We're absolutely thrilled to have you in the conference. I want to congratulate Dr. Bardo and Darron. They've done a great job presenting their university, showing the strengths, showing how they could contribute to the American Athletic Conference. And if it weren't for them, and obviously you always have negotiations as you come into a conference, this would not have happened. They're visionaries, they have a vision for this university, and they understand that this is a great move for them, and we think it will bear a lot of fruit down the road. We think it's going to be a great association, great friendships. You're going to make great friendships. It's great to be here in Charles Koch Arena. This is a place, I've seen it on TV, I've understood the passion, the excitement, the intensity, the electricity. Our schools will enjoy coming here. You'll enjoy visiting our schools. We have a lot of great universities in this conference, as you know, and I think they're all very excited about the Wichita State Shockers. And I see the mascot over here. We love our mascots, and we want to make sure we pay attention. I think my fondest photos are my pictures with the mascots, and I always ask them, are you warm in there? And they always, they're not allowed to speak for the most part, but no, it's great to be here. I will talk a little about the conference, but I also want to talk about Wichita State University too, and why we decided that you were the best fit for our conference, and why we thought that you would, be a great addition. There is a wonderful culture here, and it's very evident. I was at the Rotary Club luncheon today, and I just can't tell you what tremendous enthusiasm and warmth I was shown, the warm welcome, everybody coming up to me. Also the quality of the people, and you here in the arena. I mean, this is a community with quality people who support their institutions, support the university, support charitable endeavors. It's great to see. It's just a wonderful community. I was downtown. I got to spend a little time. I came in yesterday. Really enjoyed it. I'll be back again. My wife not able to join me. She's on actually a trip to China with some friends. This time of year, I can't go on any trips, as you can imagine. But in any event, I look forward to coming back with her, and I think you'll enjoy meeting her. She's been a great ambassador for the conference. There's leadership here, obviously, with the administrators at the university, Dr. Bardo and Darron and others. You have great coaches. I met some of the coaches this morning, and not just, obviously, Greg Marshall is well known nationally, but you have other terrific coaches in all your Olympic sports and your women's basketball program as well. Again, the fans, the passion, it all will come together. You're going to get great TV exposure. I can talk about that in a second. I also want to commend your donors. You've been very generous, obviously, the donors to this university. They've been very instrumental in the success of your programs. I think you're going to thrive in our conference. You're going to be extremely competitive. You're going to find the level of competition to be enhanced, and I think you'll obviously be able to meet that very easily, and it's going to be a tremendous season for you in basketball and women's basketball. Volleyball's already started. You've been at Temple and UConn. You were ranked. You had a great win over Creighton, which was number 8 in the country, so you've already gotten started. My background was at ESPN and CBS before I joined the conference. I mention that because one of the sports I was involved with was the College World Series, so I well know the tremendous history of baseball here at Wichita State University, winning a championship, a College World Series back, and I know Gene Stevenson, one of the great coaches, and he's retired now. Your baseball program will be joining a lot of good programs in this conference. Houston, our 2 Florida schools. We've had tremendous success. If you visit Tulane and you visit East Carolina, you'll see stadiums that rival any minor league stadium I've ever been in. They're really tremendous facilities. So I know you'll enjoy playing in that league as well. Your softball's a growing sport. And obviously your individual sports. We have excellent cross-country, track and field, a whole bunch of other sports. I can't obviously mention them all, but you're going to be terrific in all of them. When it comes to men's basketball, we have a terrific roster of coaches. Greg Marshall joins people like Tubby Smith, Kevin Ollie, who won national championships. Kelvin Sampson, who has obviously been at the Final Four. We hired Mike Dunleavy at Tulane. He'll resurrect that program. Johnny Dawkins has done wonders already with UCF. Mick Cronin is one of the deans of our coaches, as well as Fran Dumpty. Mick at Cincinnati, Fran at Temple. And Frank Haith just up the road. You've got a natural rivalry with Tulsa. I know I always forget to mention some of the coaches, but we have just an absolute, Jeff Lebo at East Carolina, an absolute great roster. And again, this just shows the quality of this league. I should mention our P6 campaign because it's been really, really important to us. And although the whole Power 5 business that you've heard about and obviously you have to read about, it's been a bit of a headwind for us because we've had to fight the perception that somehow we're not at their level, and we know we are. It has more to do with football, there's no question about that. But it does affect basketball, it does affect Olympic sports, it does affect your university as well as all the other universities in the American Athletic Conference. We are striving to be viewed as a Power 6 conference. I've said many times, how can you not view us already as a Power 6 conference? We've won a national championship in men's basketball. We've won 4 national championships recently in women's basketball. 3 were in our conference with UConn. We had a golf champion. We had a track and field champion. We've had all sorts of big wins. We've had 2 New Year's Day Bowl wins. We've had top 10 football teams. We've had teams in the top 25 all over the place in basketball and football. I said, how is that not power? I mean, what do you mean when you use the word power? And that's why we feel that we have to, in the media and public's perception, be viewed that way. And our campaign is gaining traction. We're publicizing it. You've seen the P6 stickers when you watch our football game, P6 identification. We understand that perception can become reality. But this is not simply a marketing campaign. It is built on real achievement. It's not built on sand. It has a firm foundation. I don't know that it's widely known, but we've had 35 football games in the last 2+ years that have drawn over 1 million viewers. We had the 2 highest rated Thursday night football games last year on ESPN. Our Temple Notre Dame game a few years ago drew 6 million viewers and it was one of ESPN's highest rated games. And game day went to Philadelphia in front of Independence Hall, and it was one of the great game days they've ever had. In basketball, our tournament has outrated many of the other conferences that we're compared to. We have our tournament on CBS this year. That's hard, that's a wonderful thing. We're going to be, and if Wichita State University makes the semifinals, they will be on CBS. Our championship game is also on CBS, and that's a tremendous accolade for the conference because when the Big Ten moved a week earlier and couldn't be on CBS that final weekend because they didn't want to conflict with the Big East in Madison Square Garden, Who did CBS turn to? They turned to us. They went to ESPN and said, is it possible to put the American Athletic Conference on CBS? And ESPN, the conference, and they got together and we worked it out. So that's going to be further great exposure for you and for the other teams in the conference. The P6 campaign, though, is going to be an ongoing thing. It will cast a halo over everything that has to do with our conference. And the one thing you have to remember, we will get there. And even though it is largely driven by perception of football, basketball is extremely important. Obviously, the two most important sports are football and basketball in terms of revenue, in terms of perception. We don't ignore our Olympic sports, though. We have great Olympic sports as well. And our women's basketball is obviously at the top with UConn and the remarkable achievements of Gino Auriemma and his team. And when they come here, it'll be very exciting. When you go there, it'll be very exciting. And you're going to really enjoy Gino. He's quite a character, but he's also one of the great people and one of the great coaches of all time. So again, that campaign, I wanted you to know that it's ongoing, that you're a big part of it. What you've done nationally, the iconic brand you've become. And you know, one of the things I probably didn't fully grasp, I was a big proponent of bringing you into the conference, and our athletic directors and presidents were fully supportive. We didn't have to do this, but we decided that just because you don't have to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it if it can benefit the conference and it can benefit you. But the great thing about this is we've always, felt that this is a program that has sustainability, and that's what everyone out there is looking at. Is our conference, is the success we've had sustainable? And I believe it is, and I believe you're going to be a big part of that. And moving forward, we're going to provide you as a member of this conference, because it's your conference now, tremendous TV exposure. And it really can't be overstated how important it is to your brand and to whom you are. You've gotten, again, I didn't grasp, as I said earlier, how much your program had become, again, I use the word iconic. You really, and this is a tribute to what you've done over the years, but also recently, those two Kentucky games, the Final Four run, all of a sudden you had become like Gonzaga. You'd burst on the scene, and it's been sustainable. You also became like Boise in football, and you've become a national brand, and it's a really tribute to what you've done. And it will have, it'll give our basketball obviously a shot of adrenaline, and we won't ignore your other sports as well, as I mentioned. But in terms of TV exposure, think about this. Your basketball program, your men's basketball program will have 2 games on CBS this year. You'll have games on ESPN on Thursdays and Sundays, ESPN2, ESPNU, other ESPN platforms. You'll be on CBS Sports Network. All your games will be seen nationally, not regionally, nationally. This is going to be a great thing for your conference. And not only that, it will allow you to show what you're doing academically, what you're doing on campus. Dr. Bardo's talked about all the innovative things you're doing with your campus. You'll have PSAs, public service announcements, where you can talk about your school. This is something you weren't able to do in the NCAA tournament because you don't get those in NCAA tournament games. This isn't going to be 2 times a year. This is now all season long and in Olympic sports. And you'll also benefit from our football programs because they'll be talking about Wichita State, just as we showed you with our PSAs. And our football programs, if they succeed, they enhance the conference. You're part of the conference, even though you don't play football. That doesn't matter. So I want you to really, I think you'll be really pleased with the TV exposure you're going to get. And as I said, we have great cities in this conference. Dr. Bardo alluded to that. You'll be going to Hartford, Connecticut. You'll be going to Philadelphia, one of the largest markets in the country. You'll be going to Houston. You'll be going to Memphis, you'll be going to New Orleans, and everyone loves to go there. You'll be going to our 2 big Florida schools in Orlando and in Tampa. And those schools, 64,000 students at UCF, 48,000 students at USF. Cincinnati, Dr. Bardo's alma mater. These are important, national and regional universities. They have important medical centers. UConn was voted the number 18th school, National Public University. A great feather in their cap and in the cap of the conference. We have an academic consortium that you're going to be part of, which is devoted to student health and welfare, especially concussion research and research into mental health. We know that students are under a lot of pressure, especially student athletes, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that they have a wonderful experience in college. And that's why we're here. That's the real reason we're here. We fight over the college football playoff, we fight over bowl berths, we fight over tournament berths in the NCAA tournament, but in the end, it's all about the student athletes. We have 2.7 million alumni in our conference. And if you have 2.7 million alumni, it means you have millions more who are fans, but actually are not alumni of the schools. And so consequently, we have a lot of people who care about us. Nationally, as I mentioned, we have all these games that are drawing enormous viewership. People know that the American Athletic Conference is on the map, and you're going to be a big part of that. When I come here in the winter, there'll be an electric atmosphere. You have geographic proximity to many of the schools in our conference, such as Tulsa, SMU, Tulane, Memphis, Houston, and you obviously have a natural rivalry with Tulsa. I want to give you one example of a rivalry that really probably wasn't a rivalry at the beginning. This group came together 5 years ago in the wake of all the conference realignment. We added Tulsa, East Carolina, and Tulane to a core group of schools that were in the conference or were about to join the conference. Obviously, UConn, Cincinnati, and USF were old Big East schools, as was Temple. But these schools came together, and these schools developed a real camaraderie and a real sense of belonging, and then they developed rivalries. The first football game played in this conference was a game between Houston and Temple. Now, they didn't have much in common with each other at the time. You know, they weren't schools that were obviously geographically in proximity. They hadn't been involved together in a conference before. There was a sparse crowd. I flipped the coin. As I was honored to do that. It was our first conference game. We had a special coin made. And I've become good at that because now we have a football championship game, and I've done it a few times. But in any event, the reason I'm mentioning it is, fast forward 2 years later, those two schools met in our inaugural football championship game. A full house, 42,000 people in Houston at their brand new stadium. The game was telecast nationally on ABC. Houston won the game and advanced to the Peach Bowl, where they defeated Florida State. Now think about that. Temple and Houston had actually become rivals in a very, very short period of time. There was an intense rivalry with those two schools. It can happen overnight. It happened in basketball with many of our schools. And we have a basketball pedigree that we probably did not have so much in football. So in basketball, you heard the roster of coaches. We've got great programs. We won a national championship. We haven't been as dominant as we'd like to be, and I think we're going to be on the cusp of greatness very, very soon. I think you're going to be a huge part of that, but we also have a number of other schools that are going to be extremely good, and you're going to enjoy that. In closing, I just want to say again that this is about the student athletes, but it's also about you, the fans in the community. You're invested in this. One of the things I love about being a commissioner, and I was in TV for 35 years or so, I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. I loved it. I loved being in the studio. I don't think on a Saturday afternoon or on a Monday or Tuesday night or Wednesday night watching basketball, there was any other place I'd want to be. It was so much fun. I had a great time. But I have really enjoyed being a commissioner because I am invested in the success of our student athletes, in the success of our coaches, and the success of our administrators. And it's a wonderful thing to see. It's a wonderful thing to see them have opportunities that are life-changing, to win championships, to compete at the highest level, to be recognized nationally. And that's what I think you, to a greater degree than ever before, are going to be experiencing with Wichita State and the wonderful athletics you have here. But it's all about the student athletes. You know, as I said, we fight about money. We'll get a better TV deal down the road. We'll negotiate a much better TV deal. It'll help our programs, no question. But in the end, it's all about our student athletes. It's about these great young people. It's about making sure that they have a great college level of athletic competition. And that, I think, is the most important thing. We make sure that their academic success is something that is a top priority. Temple this year graduated all 26 of their seniors in football. And we look around and all of our conferences, our conference teams are doing better in terms of graduation rates. We're focusing on our academic consortium. That's extremely important. So again, it's all about the student athletes and it's about the community support. I applaud you. Thank you for having me. The warmth I've been shown, the warm welcome has just been phenomenal. I'm thrilled to be here. I can't wait to come back. I've enjoyed, touring around. I've enjoyed, it's been a long day. I'm glad I kept my voice at least because I've met a lot of people, shaken a lot of hands. And again, thank you for reaching out. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting the conference. And again, you're a big part of why Wichita State is in the conference, and their great achievements are also one of the key reasons. And you've done that over a long period of time, and it's only going to get better, and the profile of the university is only going to get larger. So thank you again, and go Shockers.
We are proud to wave your banner. Charles Koch.